Good morning, Cordova. Um, our psalm this morning is Psalm 119, and I'm just going to read two verses, 145 and 146. I call with my whole heart. Answer me, O Lord, that I may keep your statutes. I call to you, oh, that you would save me. I will keep your decrees. And I picked these verses out of the psalm for today because um, there is this there's this kind of longing that God would hear us. Um, and I was listening to uh, one of my one of my favorite preachers this morning, preaching out of James, and he just reminded me of what it is to be patient. What it is to be patient in a time like this, in a time when I kind of look around and go, "Okay, God, what are you doing? When are?" But I think, in um, part of what I imagine a lot of us are feeling, and what can be difficult to maintain right now is patience. It's patience with ourselves, patience with those close to us, patience with those we love, patience with those we don't love, patience with those who are just kind of in society, in the store with us and doing things that we're not particularly happy about. Um, but maybe the most important thing, and the thing that I hope um, this is building in us, and what I think the Psalms build in us when we pay close attention to them, is patience with God. And it can be hard. It can be hard to see the way that God might be working in our lives. It can be hard to see the way that God might be working in the world. And it can be hard to maintain the energy and the focus to continue to do good in the midst of in the midst of a whole lot of bad happening around us. And the line that jumped out to me in that sermon I was listening to this morning was to continue to do good while we wait for God to make all things. Well, let me back up. To continue to do right while we wait for God to make all things right. And this is part of that twofold cry that's here in verse 146. I call to you, oh, that you would save me. Longing from the heart that God would make things right. And then he says, I will keep your decrees. Those two things, daring God to do right. I'm not daring to make all things right to justify my doing right. I'm here living obediently, putting myself um, at God's mercy, in God's hands, in continuing to live faithfully. Um, I'm here placing myself before Him and trusting that whatever He does with it, that's that's God. That's for God to do. That's God's decision to make. And, so my hope, my prayer for us today, continuing to do right, even in a time of waiting and difficulty, um, and and that we are doing right while we wait for God to make all things right. Don't give up calling out to God. Don't give up crying out to God. But also, don't give up doing right in the meanwhile. Um, Take care, friends. Grace and peace be with you. Stay well, stay safe, and we hope to see you soon.